So we got a delicious piece, emphasis on delicious, piece of Transformers history in an indirect kind of way. Anyone that was a Transformer fan during the late 80s and the early 90s is very familiar with what I'm going to be talking about. And it is that of the McChangeables and the McDonald's promotion that existed for 3 years during that later tail end hype of Transformers paraphernalia. Now, granted, the McChangeables were not an official Hasbro licensed product. It was McDonald's taking advantage of, very late to the game, the transforming concept of an item to a robot product. Now, for people who aren't familiar, the McChangeables were a McDonald's promotion line that came out in 1987, and it lasted for 3 series, for 1989 for Series 2, and for 1990 in Series 3, where they actually had a title change. I'll get into that in a moment. So in 1987, they released this line, and it was a whole bunch of little McDonald's food products that transformed into robots. A Big Mac, large fry, McNuggets, so on and so forth. It was so successful in 1987 that they did a second wave in 1989, and it consisted of some remolds and some brand new molds of the previous wave. So we got the likes of a small fry instead of just the normal size fry. On top of the regular size fry, you got a quarter pounder with cheese and so on, milkshake. And then in 1990, they did the McDino Changeables, which was this pretty much the same thing. Again, using those same molds, but remolding them a little bit so they had dinosaur faces and stuff. And we also got some new molds in that of a Happy Meal box and so on and so forth. And it was pretty awesome. And for the longest time, especially in the early days of the resurgence of Transformers with Beast Wars and BotCon, these guys would pop up in droves at conventions. And I remember at BotCon 2008, we were at the bar, and there was just this one guy that just had like a huge bag of them, and he was just handing them out to everybody. And I know I have a photo somewhere of Goober with his holding a McChangeable to his face and trying to match the face of the McDinosaur or whatever. But so why am I going into this long rant of things? Well, it seems that, and this is pretty freaking hype if this is 100% true, a YouTuber by the name of Galinsky Games has recently unearthed what's going to be a extremely limited short-run promotion celebrating 40 years of Happy Meal toys. And this is going to be a localized promotion, which McDonald's has done in the past, where they do just these small runs of toys in certain local regions. They've done it for years, all the way dating back to the 80s. And so they're going to be doing the same thing here between November 7th and November 11th. There's going to be a short run of these promotions celebrating 40 years of, again, McDonald's toys. So each day is going to have a new run of toys celebrating those years. So obviously day 1 is going to be McChangeables. Day 2 is going to be the old McNugget Buddy promotions. Day 3 is going to be the Dino McChangeables. Day 4 is going to be related to mostly just the promotional stuff of PVC figures of the Ronald McDonald gang. And then you have even like the old Space Jam ones, Thai Beanie Babies, the Power Ranger license during the Power Ranger the movie, which I feel personally was one of the best McDonald's promotions ever made in terms of quality of product. Those were incredible, those Power Ranger movie ones. And Furby and Tamagotchi, all like the really big staples, like the really good promotions that they've had throughout the years. I mean, I could kind of jump into and be like, man, like those Marvel ones, like when they did Spider-Man or Batman, even the DC ones, some of those were incredible when they were action figures. And of course, the Beast Wars ones were always hitting it out of the park. Some of those early Beast Wars ones are better than some of the Legends toys we get today, which is crazy when you think about it. But anyways, getting back to this, so McChangeables is going to be getting 2 spots in this. So specifically the Wave 1 quarter pounder is going to be getting reissued. And it looks like a straight up reissue of the original. It's probably going to have just a little trademark date stamp different on the bottom. But for judging from these photos, it looks like it's straight up a reissue of the original quarter pounder for the McChangeables Series 1. And then the the Happy Meal Odon, which is the dinosaur one, which is going to be the 3rd release here from the Series 3, is also going to be getting reissued here, judging by the photos. And that's it really for the Transformer-esque kind of thing. but it's going to be a limited run. I don't know what's going to be different about it. Maybe just the baggie will be updated. Maybe the date stamp on the bottom of the product will be updated, but it looks like it's a 1-for-1 reissue all the while. There's going to be obviously new signage and stuff to promote this, but this looks hype as hell. This is so cool. And if anyone who's in a local area where this is happening, please pick them up and send me a PM, throw me a PM in Twitter or something. I am super interested in getting some copies of these because I love the McChangeables and I have a huge collection of them. And to get like these reissues of them would be so cool to have like some mint and package one and some loose ones just to add to the history of it. It's so cool. And it just, this Galinsky Games guy, he kind of reminds me a little bit. I just want to go on a little story here. Back in the day in 2005 when Cybertron was out, Transformers Cybertron, Proto Man was working at Burger King. This was before I was working as a mechanic. And it was funny because those Cybertron toys came out at Burger King. And I was like, oh my God. And I asked my boss, hey, could I because they send you first the promotional ones that are going to put in the display on the outside, so you have like the whole wave in one shot, and then slowly throughout the week they send you the full cases of like 300 400 figures to be sold individually each different week. So we had that first promotional set, and I asked my boss, do you mind if I like take a few photos of these? And this is like me with like my old big bulky digital camera back in 2005 before the years of iPhones. And I just I took photos of these Cybertron toys. It was Optimus Prime, Red Alert, Megatron, and Jetfire, and I posted them. And I remember it was like front page on TFW 2005. And the funny thing is, if you look at those photos, they were taken on like the top of a toilet. Like it was Burger King's staff room toilet, because I needed a room that had like a nice white background and the porcelain gloss of the top of a toilet. No one knew that, but funny story. It was just so, it was the same thing. Like this guy, clearly Galinsky is probably a Burger King, or excuse me, a McDonald's employee. All this stuff shows up way early. And it's all the paperwork and the promotional work and the stuff that they hang in the windows. And so he's just dropping the news right here. And this is some hype stuff. I am super excited about this. Please, anyone that's listening, I don't want to sound like I'm begging here, but because this is a local promotional thing, I'm in the great, north of Canada, and this is obviously not going to show up, but this will probably be a local promotion thing in somewhere in the States. And it'd be so cool to get my hands on some of these. So anyone, if possible, the Quarter Pounder and the Dino, if you guys could somehow get your hands on that, that'd be so cool. Send me a PM. I will reimburse you, no problem, and then some. Even send you a little something in the mail maybe as a thank you, because these are really cool. And I mean, this is awesome. It's just awesome to see like the 40th anniversary of McDonald's. And I mean, any kid growing up, that was a large part of their childhood was McDonald's toys. It was always the cheap alternative to stuff. Again, my first Beast Wars toys were not Cheetor and Rhinox. It was, Panther and and Manta Ray and Beetle. I actually would not get Rhino until years later. I always missed that last week. But so it's so cool. So cool. These really dig it. Big part of any G1er's transforming toy childhood. So this is awesome. Definitely check it out. I'll link the original video that I'm referencing all of this from in the description or in the comments, and you could kind of check it out, and he goes into it in great depth. But this is really cool stuff.